Okay, so I've now got them organized into blues and greens, yellows, browns, white tans, and reds and neutral tint kind of thing, purpley shades. But I wanted to show you the difference of what I mean by like a hot pressed versus more like a cold press. So this, can you see the texture is a cold press, and you can kind of see how the color kind of goes into all these divots, and this is a hot pressed. So it's a very different look that you might want to go for. Hot pressed, cold pressed. So this is a very cold press, so we're going to be doing that on these. I have all these little swatch cards that have the colors on them, but I wanted to make them all on one sheet. Well, they're not all going to go on one sheet, but I'm going to do a little like in sections. So we're going to start, I think, with doing the blues and greens. That's these ones. So I'm going to put these to the side. I have a number 4 round, and this is undersea green. And undersea green is like exactly what it's called, an undersea green. It looks kind of like seaweed. It's a beautiful, beautiful shade. It is granulating, which I really like. So here it is, undersea green. It's just so pretty. It's like really deep and dark, almost like a moss color. It's so pretty. And I would suggest just getting colors you really love. I got a whole bunch. This was a Christmas gift that I got a lot of these as. But if you're being like, which ones do I want? You have to know, do you like granulating? Do you like that like texture? Or do you like them to be a little bit more flat in their color, like a little less doing their own thing? I really like them to do their own thing. So for me, that's a win. Okay, so that's undersea green. Okay, and then I'm going to add, this is a Primatech color. This is green Apatite Genuine, which means it has more like stones in it. So this one is also going to be granulating. It has a little bit of, it's very similar to sap green, except that sap green has, when it's really light and washed, it's like a bright green. And when this is washed, it has like almost fluorescent-y green with brown kind of hints in it, which is fun. So I'm gonna make that one. Let me get a little more water in here so you'll be able to see some of that, because otherwise you're not going to see that part. Okay. And when it dries, you're going to be able to see some of that brown, hopefully. I'm going to add a little water here. And this one, I'm just going to show a little bit more of the color. Okay, so that's that one. Then I'm going to go with, oh, this one is my favorite. I use so much of this color. This is Cascade Green. It is magnificent. It's like, you know, turquoisey and green, and oh, it's just so pretty. It's just my favorite. I love it so much. And it has so many uses. So many. And so when it's lighter, it's more turquoise, and when it's you have more paint, it's more green. Can you see that? It's like, here, I'm gonna go closer up so you can see, but it's like, oh, so pretty. So pretty. Okay. Then I'm gonna go with another favorite. This one I use a lot as well, and this one is called Green Gold. it's just, yeah, again, I'm not sure if this one is a granulating color, but it does have, I mean, like all Daniel Smith watercolors, they do have a little bit of more movement to them, which, I mean, I love that. If you're maybe doing more photorealistic, maybe you don't want this granulation. I don't know, but I love it. And we're gonna kind of go with some maybe some stone shapes. I'm gonna add a little bit of water over here, thin that out, a little color off on this spot. Okay, so that's green gold. And then this is a Serpentine Genuine. This is also a Primatech color. Ugh, let me open it up. There we go. Let me get a tiny, very small dab. Okay, there we go. Ooh, can I get this cap on? There we go. Okay. So Serpentine Genuine also has this kind of color variation to it because it is made with more natural materials. It's kind of similar to the green gold. It's a little bit darker than green gold is. I mean, when it's wet, it looks so similar, but when it's dry, we'll see. But to me, it looks very different. It has a little bit of dark green granules in it. So it ends up looking quite a bit different than green gold does, but we'll see. You can see it when it dries. Okay, and then last on the greens that I have is sap green. I got this one later because I wanted some of the paintings I was making, I wanted a more neutral, flat color without a lot of that granulation going. And this fits that bill. It really is sap green, right? Like you're making monstera leaves or something like that. It's going to be that color, or that shade. So, okay. I love this color. Isn't it pretty? Okay. You know what? I feel like with this serpentine, you're not quite seeing it. So I'm going to actually pull some that I have from the palette of that serpentine so you can kind of maybe see a little bit more of that brown part. We'll see if it comes through. It's not really brown. I guess it's like more brown you're going to get out of the green apatite genuine. Okay, now we're going to move on to the blues. So I'm going to start with the one kind of closest to the green that I have, which is cobalt turquoise. Cobalt turquoise is a really pretty color. It's very blue. It's more on the blue end than on the green. Ooh, I got a little bit of the, I think probably the medium in there. But it's more on the blue end for a turquoise. But I mean, does it not just make you feel like you're in the tropics? About to jump in the water. Or, in Iceland where the water is all cold. It just gives me that sort of feel. Okay, and again, I'm gonna just add a little water in the bottom. Use my paper towel, just kind of lift some of the color off so you can kind of see it better. Okay, that's cobalt. Next up, we're gonna grab French ultramarine. I use this one for mixing all the time. This is my go-to mixing blue. It's it's just so This, and then I have quinacridone magenta as well. Quinacridone magenta and the French ultramarine make really good color mixing. I'm not a big fan of color mixing with the primaries. They just don't do it for me. They don't create the shades I'm looking, or the colors I'm looking for. I shouldn't say the shades. I'm not adding any black. The colors I'm looking for. They just don't do that. So when I use French ultramarine and magenta, it's like, yes, that is doing it. Those are the colors I like. Okay, so we got French ultramarine. It is granulating as well. I don't know if you can't quite tell, but it is. This is cobalt blue violet. You know what? I'm going to put that one with the purples. I'm not going to leave that one with the blues. I might have space on this to add purples afterwards, but we'll see. Okay, then we have the phthalo blue green shade. I thought I would use this one a lot. I see a lot of people using this as their mixing shade. But I did a whole bunch of different color wheels to see which blues and reds I liked the best for colors, and I just didn't love it for that. So, I think it's a personal choice. I'll show you the color wheels if you'd like, and you can kind of decide which colors you think you would want for yours. But for mine, I was like, meh, it's not quite doing what I want it to do. It's beautiful on its own, though. I mean, look how pretty this shade is. Oh, I just went over. There we go. It's gorgeous. I just tend to pick up French ultramarine definitely more. Okay. So there's that one. Okay, and then we're going to move on to cerulean blue chromium. This is the one I use most when I'm making skies. Really diluted for skies. You can choose not to use it diluted, but I use it very diluted. Okay. And it's just this beautiful, it's almost turquoisey a little, but not really. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. And I have it pretty high potency right now, but when it's really, really watered down, it's a gorgeous sky. And it blends well into other colors for sunsets and stuff, which is nice. Okay. And I believe this one's granulating as well. My water is now extremely dirty. I should have been wiping it off earlier. So I'm going to, I think, dump it out and just get some new water. I made a mess. And I don't want to, a lot of times I don't bother with it if I'm making a painting, but since I really want the truest of the true colors here, I'm gonna do that. Okay, next up is Lunar Blue. This one is a granulating color. It's so cool looking. It just reminds me of like the night sky. It's just, it's a really good layering color to use with other things. It has a little bit of gray and and kind of almost that chromium. It's just an interesting color. Okay. It is just a very fun, interesting color. Okay. And let's go ahead and get that one on the paper. I need a lot more water. So this one is best to have pretty diluted in order to really emphasize the granulation in this. I want to see all the shading in it. It's just so cool. Okay. Do I want to make that a little bigger? Maybe. Maybe I want it a little bigger. Okay. And I'm just making these kind of pebble shaped. They're all just like fun rainbow pebbles. Okay, and then next up is manganese blue hue. I thought that I would use this one a lot for the sky, but it's almost like too bright of a shade for the sky for me, so I end up using the cerulean a lot more. Um, it's a little, yeah, it's like very, very, I don't know, electric-y, which maybe later at some point, some painting that I make, I'm gonna want more of an electric-y blue. But usually I like them a little more muted, so it just doesn't happen. Okay. And there's manganese. Okay, you can see what that shade looks like. Okay. Next up is Prussian blue. I use Prussian blue all the time. I do use this one a lot. It's a very easy shade to mix with other shades, and it's just kind of like a neutrally blue. I don't know if that's like a good way to say it, but it is a rather neutrally blue, and it's very intense because I just squeezed it straight from the bottle. But it's almost like a denim blue is kind of what it more is. It's got that kind of denim thing going on here. If you can kind of see what that looks like. Okay. Okay, so then we got our brushing. Okay, so I still have so much room, so I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna move on to, what do I want here? Payne's Blue Gray. So this is I thought that I would use this a lot, the Payne's Blue Gray. It's a bluish gray. But to be honest, I use neutral tint mostly for gray. And any kind of gray I'm going to be mixing with other colors, because I just love that other shade doesn't alter the color so much. It just darkens, it makes it a shade of the color versus altering its color. Okay, so we got that guy, but it's pretty, and I do think it looks well also for like night sky. It's not a bad look, you know. It is a nice one to have in the palette. There's a few that I would be like, meh, I don't know if I'd buy that again, but this one I feel like I kind of would. Okay. All right, I have a mess here. I'm gonna move some of these out of the way. So I'm gonna move all those blues and greens over. We used them, we're done. Okay, move those over. And then I'm gonna continue to grab onto these other shades here. Okay, so next one up I'm gonna grab is, I'm gonna show you that neutral tint right next to it so that you can see, since I've already talked about it, and you can see what that looks like. I love this. I think as far as like getting something on your palette, if you're being kind of more picky about it, here it is. We have neutral tint. It does such a good job of doing just that, being a neutral tint, not altering the color of the paint it's mixed with. And you need so little of it to do that. So that part's really nice too. A little goes a long way. And you don't have to get any of these watercolors if these are like not speaking to you, if they're not your style. But I was using cheaper ones and it just doesn't, I didn't love it as much. So this is, I just really love using them, and they were a gift as well, which was so nice. Okay, so next up I'm gonna grab is, since we're still kind of in the blues a bit, I'm gonna grab that Cobalt Blue Violet. Cobalt Blue Violet is a blue purple. Think the violets that you see, you know, at the garden center, or the hyacinths that you see. It's like that purple. It's that kind of, you know, the purple that's like in the crayon box kind of purple is what it reminds me of. I'm going to kind of just outline a little bit. Not that I need to do that, but okay. So you can kind of see what that one looks like. I don't use it a ton. I don't really use a lot of purple in general. I take that back. I say that I don't use purple, and then I end up using it a lot. I'm going to grab a little bit more of it in the pan and just, well, it's not any more water. And I'm going to tap it into the top part here. You can see. But yeah, you see how it's like purpley? It's like kind of like if you took French ultramarine and then you added just like a little bit of the red in there, like a little. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Okay, and then I'm going to go with Imperial Purple. Imperial Purple is a really fun purple because it's, ooh, that was a lot of paint. Because it's granulating, and it kind of has hints underneath that are pink. I don't know if it's going to show up in here. We'll see if it shows up on this paper or not. I don't know. But it does have that, which is so cool. Okay. We'll see if I can kind of recreate that for you so you can see that. But it's a really fun purple because of that. Because it has that bit of pink. Let's see if I can pull some of this back. My cat is at the door being like, "What?" Let's see. I should let this cat in, maybe. I love you, kitty. You want to come? Oh, there. Yeah, you can kind of see the pink is coming through in this spot. So yeah, it's kind of like a pinky purple. Oh, there she is. She's meowing. She's like, "Let me in." Let's see. Maybe I'll open the door and let her in. There she is. Okay. Maybe she'll be happy now. Okay. And then next up, ooh, should I put it back over here? Oh, this one's gorgeous. Okay, we're going to go with this next one, which is Moon Glow, and it's to die for. I'm going to turn this page so that I don't ruin all this stuff with my sleeves. Let me turn it. There we go. Okay. Moon Glow is like a, it is like a gray as well. But it has so much. Here, I'll show you what this one is. It's Moon Glow, Clair de Lune. It's just like, I don't know, it has so many shades in it. It's like purpley, gray. It's just so pretty. I know, I agree. It is so pretty, right? So you're saying? I know, honey. I know. Oh, don't get too much up in here. Oh, I might have to, whoop! I might have to pause it so I can let, take care of my kitty cat. So, okay. Okay, so there's Moon Glow. Okay, I better take care of this cat. Okay, kitty crisis averted. All right, so I'm going to make the moon glow one a little bit bigger so you can see a little bit more of that like purpley-ness of the gray. It's just so like, I don't know, makes me think of like spooky Halloween stuff, and I love that. You know that like gray, black, purple that's in so much, you know, I don't know, Halloween decor and stuff. It's like that. That's the shade that it is. It's really cool. Okay. Or the color it is. I keep saying shade, but just don't listen to me. Okay, so we're going to go with this next one, which is lavender, which I did get it later as a color, and I thought I would love it, but it has, you know, like it's not, ooh, squeeze a little too much. Woo, jeez, don't squeeze it. It's a little more opaque, so it's a little more gouache than it is watercolory. And if that's your jam, then that's great. But I feel like I don't end up using it very often because of that. And, you know, that's okay. I just don't. Because I really love how watercolor is so translucent. And this one is not that. It's definitely a lot more creamy. A little bit like that buff titanium, you know. It's like if you took the cobalt maybe and then you mixed it in with your titanium white or something. I don't know which shades, which colors are in there. I'll have to look up later. I mean, the pigments are PW6, PB15, and PB29, but I'll have to look up which ones those are. Okay, so next up, we're going to get into a little bit more of the like pinks and reds. So we have, ooh, can you pronounce that? Oh my God. Naphthamide. Naphthamide maroon. We're just going to go with that. Maybe that's not how you say it. You can correct me in the comments. It's a beautiful shade. I can't say I use it a lot. It is one that I got later. Then again, I was like, I'm going to use this all the time. And I can't say that I pull it all the time, but man, I think I should. Because, I mean, look at this color. It's so like, it's like that deep red. It's not it's, I don't know how to describe it better than like being like a red that's really, really deep. It's like blood red or like berry red. It has darkness to it. It's not a bright red. I don't know if I would have called that maroon, because to me that's not maroon. It's still a little bit more red, but you know, I don't know. And then we have anthraquinoid red. This one is, for me, what I feel is like a truer red. Maybe I don't like primaries very much, so maybe that's why. But this for me just feels like, hi, I'm red, like red lipstick red. I really think this is a good color. I like it for mixing as well, but again, I don't like primaries. So, you know, like they have their primary line where you get a primary blue, primary yellow, and it kind of gives me the icks. Just, I don't know why, but it does. Okay, I'm going to take some of the color off just so you can see what it looks like a little lighter. But yeah, that is it. Okay, so you can see how different they are. Like this is so much deeper. Okay, and then we're going to go into Pyrrole Scarlet. This one I surprisingly use a lot. It's like a poppy red. It's certainly a lot brighter. I'll put it here in this spot. Okay. It's like a bright orangey red, and I I think in nature, I end up seeing a lot more of this where I am. Because we have like desert chaparral is what it's called. And so I do see a lot more of this color than I see of like any primaries or things like that. It's a fun shade. I mean, it's a punchy shade. It's kind of that like mid-century color, which is a fun color. Okay, so this is Pyrrole Scarlet. Pyrrole Scarlet. Okay. Next up are the two quinacridones. I have quinacridone magenta and quinacridone rose. Quinacridone rose, I use so much of it. I have a giant divot in my tray from how much I use quinacridone rose. And these two are my good mixing shades that I use with French ultramarine a lot. I don't know what it is about a quinacridone with an ultramarine, but I'm vibing in it. I like it. It's just a cool color. Okay. Like, look, it's kind of this like pink, but like rosy. I don't know. It's just pretty. And when it's really light, you can just get so much brightness in it. I just love it. It's a beautiful color. Beautiful, beautiful. I know. What else can I say about it being beautiful? Yeah, it's just like this nice pink. Okay. And then I'll do quinacridone magenta. This is the like ultra for mixing for me in the color wheel situation, the things I really do enjoy. Very similar to quinacridone rose, except it kind of looks like it has a little bit more of the depth to it, like darkness, the depth. So you've got that going on. Okay, and I think maybe I can get all of these colors on this paper, which would be so great if I can put it all in one, but we'll see. We can make it fit. Okay, I'm gonna take off a bit so you can see some of that lightness. Okay, isn't it pretty? So pretty. Okay. Next up, a lot of people talked about how much they loved this color, and I was like, I'm gonna love it. And I don't. I like it when it's mixed with stuff. When I mix it with like neutral tint and stuff like that, I like it. But on its own, it's like, hi, I am electric pink. This is opera pink. Opera pink. And it is like little girl, hot pink, pink. The pigment in this is insane. It is, hi, I'm going to slap you in the face, pink. Which isn't a bad thing. Maybe like you love it, the slap in the face pink. Like that's what this is. It's very fluorescent. At least to me. Okay, I'm going to take a little off there. Okay. And that one is opera pink. And then we have Potter's Pink. Potter's Pink is very granulating, and it's kind of like a brown pink. I think it's called probably Potter's Pink because it is that. Like it's like a clay pink. So it works well in a lot of like natural landscapes. I went to the Painted Desert and walked around there, and I feel like there was a lot of this kind of color within the mountains. It's almost like rust, you know, like a rusty pink. It's a very cool shade, very granulating. Okay. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna move to this next section here, and we're gonna go to, let's start with some browns. I'm going to do kind of lunar earth over here. I don't know if I'm going to fit all these. I'm not going to be swatching the titanium white, so I think we don't even need to have that one over here. not going to be swatching it. And then Lunar Earth. I'll put that one on here. Just in the corner maybe. Okay, so Lunar Earth I do use a lot. It is a very granulating color. It reminds me, like, have you been to the Red Rocks in Utah? Like, it's a little bit like that, you know, like that kind of red brown. It's a little like that. It's a very fun color. And a wash of this can just be so nice. Let me set this up. Okay. Get some of this color off so you can see what it will look like lighter. Okay. So there we go. That's Lunar Earth. Then I'm gonna go with this is the one I use probably the most of my kind of orangey browns. This is Aussie Red Gold. It's so funky. It's just like very bright orangey and then brownie. I don't know. It just feel like there's so many times I end up pulling this color and being able to use it. I don't know, in just so many different things. Maybe it's because I'm living in a more desert landscape that I pull this more, but I do have it on my travel palette, my little mini one that I have very like few colors of. So, I mean, I like it enough to put it on that. Let me pop my bubbles. Okay. So that one's just love it. Okay. And then another one I use a lot is a nickel azo yellow. It's like a kind of like a dirty yellow. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It's kind of like a dirty yellow. I'm very untechnical with what I'm saying, but it has, yeah, it just has one pigment, but it's just so interesting. And again, like, I can use it for like goldenrod and, you know, like the center of flowers that has that like brown gold shade. It's just, I keep saying shade. Stop that. It's just so fun. It's very useful in that it's kind of golden. Less like, hi, I'm bright yellow. Like more a little more subtle in its color. Okay. Next up, I'm gonna grab a brown. This is transparent brown oxide. It's another one I got later on. And I do like it. But I think between grabbing that one and burnt umber, I probably grab burnt umber more often. I think burnt umber just maybe is a little more useful. But this is a really good like dirt brown, like of the earth brown, or even like not even a dirt brown. It's like a chocolatey brown, you know, and it doesn't have a lot of granulation, so it can. Well, it does actually. I take it back. It does have granulation. It does, but I think Lunar Earth has more. Burnt Umber even I think has less than this, but I don't know why I don't grab this one more often. Maybe I should. Maybe I should just grab more of that shade because it looks cool. I do like it. Okay, next up, quinacridone gold. This is another one I grab instead of that Aussie red gold sometimes. Sometimes I grab this one, quinacridone gold. Not that they're really close in color. I think the Aussie red gold has a little more granulation, but you know, it's just such a beautiful color. It's more golden than this one. This one's more orange. The Aussie red gold is more orange. And the quinacridone gold is more what I would think of as gold, right? This would also work really well for like sunflowers and poppies and things like that. It's It's a beautiful color. I don't know. I mean, are there that many colors I don't like? I don't know. That's probably why I have so many colors. Okay, we're gonna go next to the brown. I'm gonna grab the burnt umber so you can kind of see them side by side. Ooh, running out of room. Am I gonna have enough room on this to go with all the colors? I might have to tuck some into some spots. We'll see. Okay, so this is burnt umber. And it's, I mean, it's also just a nice brown shade. Oh, stop saying shade. Color. Shades involve mixing black or gray. It's just so useful. I don't use a lot of the browns in my abstract paintings, but when I'm doing more landscapes and or more florals, I do use browns all the time. I use it a lot more often. Okay, and last one is sepia, as far as my browns, and it's useful. I do use it, but not a ton. It works really good for shadow. I use it a lot for like a city building shadow or a person's shadow. It's a very like almost a grayish brown more, and very granulating, and I just think it's really great for that purpose. So I don't not like it. I'm gonna make it just a little bit bigger because I don't look like I'm shoving everything into this corner. Okay, although I am kind of getting progressively smaller and tighter. Okay, next up is New Gambage. And I think I'm going to put New Gambage. Is it going to look weird if I put it over there? We're going to see. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't, but. Oh, am I going to do all three of these? These are so similar, these three. I might move one of them. Maybe I want to put, I'm going to put the yellow. No, I want that yellow. No, I want the Gambage over here. I'll just have to remember which one's which. Because those three are so similar, but they're different enough that it does matter when we're talking about mixing colors. So I tend to, this is New Gambage. I use this one a lot in abstracts. Sorry, change of subject here, but I was like, I should tell you about the color I'm actually using, not the one I'm not using yet. This one I use in abstract paintings all the time. It's just a very useful color. It does look a little weird all by itself over there, but whatever. It's just my color swatching thing. Okay, and then we're gonna go to the one I was talking about. This is Hansa Yellow Medium. This is the one I use the most of the yellows because I feel like this one does mix well. It is very, it is exactly what it says. It's a medium, right? Like it's middle road of a yellow. It's not like butter. It's not like sun, in the sky. It's that middle color that can go a little bit lighter or a little bit darker, whatever kind of is being called for in that painting. It is a really beautiful color. Okay, I'm going to pull some a little bit off. Pull some off. Okay. Hansa Yellow Medium. Hansa Yellow Light. I'm going to put next to it over here. It's going to look honestly like I almost have the same color, but this one's, as the name implies, lighter. It's a little more like, I mean, this other one is lemon yellow, and the light just looks almost exactly like lemon yellow. I mean, they're so hard to tell apart. And this one's just a little bit like more orangey, more creamy. And I prefer that versus having like a fluorescent-y yellow, but I mean, you do you for what you like to have. I mean, my water's so dirty right now, but I think it's still working. Okay, and then I'm gonna make one here. And this is lemon yellow. Lemon yellow, I feel like maybe you're gonna see a difference, but I'm always like, what am I using, lemon yellow or Hands of Yellow Light? Because they look so similar. I think maybe there's a little less pigment. Maybe the pigment's lighter. Like this one's a little like thicker. This one's a little bit softer. So maybe if you want something that you're diluting more, maybe you want the lemon yellow. I don't know. But I'm like, they're kind of the same to me. And then last, I'm going to use buff titanium. Woo! Buff titanium. Buff titanium works really good for sand, sandstone. It's a really fun thing to use, but I end up just not using it that much because it is so creamy. It's got so much white in it. And in my watercolors, I usually go with more transparent shades. So colors, not shades, colors. So, personal preference. Okay. Those are all of the colors. I feel like they're just beautiful. This looks like so many tubes of paint, and then on here it doesn't look like quite so much, but they're just all beautiful. I think in general, if I were going to be picky, I love colors that have several colors within them versus making, well, I guess it just depends. I'm going to show you the color wheels oh, not that book. About the other one so I can show you what it looks like. And then I have a glazing sheet as well. You can kind of see. Okay, so here's for instance, we have, this is quinacridone magenta, nickel azo yellow, and French ultramarine. And they're kind of these more neutrally colors, which I really love. Here's them with pyrrole scarlet, nickel azo yellow, French ultramarine. They're very messy. It's fine. Pyrrole scarlet, nickel azo yellow, French ultramarine, pyrrole scarlet, nickel azo phthalo blue. And so that kind of, I don't know, it just didn't, I wasn't vibing in it. I really loved the quinacridone magenta instead. It just made some colors that were much more interesting to me. And then I also have, I'll have to show it another time. I have ones with glazing, like one of the colors on top, like then dry, and then another color on top, and seeing what they look like. And I have a whole color chart of that. So I'm going to fill in all of the color names all over this, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm finished up making my color palette of all the different shades. They're pretty much dry now, except for the quinacridone magenta, which I redid a little bit. But you can just see now in the shading, can you see this cascade green? It's like that beautiful greenish blue, and the undersea green is so much depth to it. They're just some beautiful shades, and that lunar blue has that dark gray blue going with it. The Prussian is so denim blue. French ultramarine. And you see how that cerulean, when it's lighter, can show up more as like a nice sky. And that pyrrole scarlet is so punchy. Potter's Pink and Lunar Earth have tons of granulation in them. Yeah, and you can see how that Hansa yellow light and lemon yellow, or like almost the same shade, the same color. We have our burnt umber and our transparent brown oxide. And that quinacridone magenta and rose are just so gorgeous. And then if you can see in this cobalt blue violet, it has some granulation that kind of turns a little pinkish, and then even more pinkish in that imperial purple. And you see that neutral tint is just neutral. Like, it doesn't, see how this has like some blue in it? This is none. So it works really well in making all of your colors into shades of those colors. So there we go. Hope you can get painting.